Today we're going to review this granny square book. Hi, I'm Beth and this is Summer and we are Chic Crochet. I was not in the market to buy a granny square book, but on Amazon Prime Day it was on sale for a great price and it popped up, and after I took a look I could not resist, and now I'm really glad I made this purchase. The title is A Modern Guide to Granny Squares and it's by Celine Simon, I think is her last name. And this book has 39 different granny squares. They're unique. I believe that she designed all of these patterns. They're patterns that I have never seen before. So just when you think you've ran out of granny square ideas or you've seen them all, you've seen all the projects, you've seen all the different granny squares, out comes a new book and gives you all kinds of new ideas. This book was actually published in 2021, but I have not seen it and I have not seen anyone review it. So maybe this will be new to you like it was to me. Celine gives a little foreword at the beginning of the book. She says, "A classic granny square is the first thing I made when I learned how to crochet, and I have not stopped since. This book is an exploration of color with countless hours, dozens of skeins of yarn, and a lot of imagination going into the bright and fun squares I've created." She has done an excellent job. I love this next thing she says. "For those who find it difficult to stick to one project at a time, a granny square is just the perfect amount of crochet for one sitting, and reaching the end of a pattern fills me with a sense of accomplishment, as granny squares are like mini projects within themselves. That's what I love about them." And she is so right. This is something that I do. If I don't know what to make and I really want to crochet something, or it's getting late, but I feel like I have to crochet something. I haven't crocheted anything today. Am I striking a chord with anyone else? Do you feel like your day is just not complete if you haven't crocheted something? So if I've had a day like that where I haven't gotten to crochet, I will sit down and I will crochet a granny square before I go to bed. It really doesn't matter what kind of yarn or what colors I use or what pattern I'm using. And as I said in my granny square video from a couple of weeks ago, those granny squares do come in handy at some point almost every time. So if I want to throw a pillow together, I can pull them out and make a pillow. Or if I want to make a little bag for someone, give them a little special gift, I can pull those granny squares out and do that with it. So I like to keep a little stash of granny squares around at all times, but sometimes I am making them with intention and I have a particular project in mind. But even if I don't, just making a granny square, you can use it at some point. So in this book, I believe, if I've counted correctly, she has 39 granny squares, and I'm going to go over each one of them with you, just give you a little summary so you can decide if this is a book that you want to purchase. I can tell you already, I am very happy that I purchased this book. One thing really cool that she's done, on the left of the page of every granny square pattern she does, she's got this grid. And in that grid, she gives you the skill level needed, the hook size, block size, techniques you're going to need to know, and yarn colors. She gives you the brand and even the yarn, the name of the yarn color, and the stock number for that color. She used Sheepy's Soft Spun. I'm not familiar with that brand, but I have heard of it. I just haven't used it. I hear a lot of people in the UK mention Sheepy's. I'm going to try that at some point, but I'm probably going to use all of this Hobby Lobby I Love This Yarn acrylic is what I'm going to use. She also gives you every stitch that you're going to need to know for that particular square. And then this is a really cool thing. She gives you a couple of options of other squares in this book that are good mix and match partners for the subject square. So that is really cute that she does that for you. And then she points you to a chart key in order to read her grid, and that chart key is at the end of the book, but she references that and tells you where to find it. So I'm going to just do a screenshot of each of these so that we don't reveal her pattern, and let's talk about each of these 39 squares. I'll try to go through them rather quickly. So the first one we have is the Picnic Time, and it is a level 2, and she has made a gingham granny square. This is so cute. It is appropriately named. I love the name, Picnic Time. It looks like a picnic tablecloth, but you can make it in this adorable little square. And I love the ones that she has chosen to mix match. You will have to purchase the book in order to see that. I don't want to reveal too much and give her book secrets away, but that is a little treat that you'll see if you purchase this book, which squares are nice to mix match with the particular one that we're speaking of. And the next one is the rainbow popcorn, and that is a skill level 3. You can see that I've got bookmarks in here, so I've tried to prioritize which ones I want to make, and the rainbow popcorn made my list, so that is one that I have bookmarked. I really like making popcorns, and this one looks repetitive. The color changes, you do have a lot of color changes, but the repetition of the making the popcorn stitch I think would be real easy to catch onto. And although it's a skill level 3, I don't think this one will be that difficult at first glance. The next one is the sugar flower, and although this has a lot more, I would say, detail, and it looks very detailed, this is actually a skill level 2. She has ranked it, and it is just so delicate and pretty. It's just pretty, just feminine and pretty. Looks like something one of my sweet little grandmothers would have loved, and it is, I feel like the name is very appropriate, the sugar flower, because sweetness is the vibe I get when I look at this granny square. The next one is the 3D heart, and the 3D heart is a level 2. It's a very lacy pattern, and then it looks like she's made popcorn stitches in the middle to make the actual heart. I love how she's used non-traditional heart-ish colors to make this. You don't automatically think Valentine's Day when you see this because she's used the pink and the green, or that pink is maybe like a salmon or melon color. Actually, in the book, it says that that color is called rose. So she's used rose, botanical, and snow are the 3 soft spun colors that she's used. I really like that. That's lovely. I haven't bookmarked that one, but I hope to get around to all of these eventually. The next one I did bookmark. This is called the pastel grid, and it is a level 2. I can't really figure out how she's done this, but I'm definitely be learning when I make this pattern. And she says this is a great block for trying out the ombre effect, and I totally agree. It's just a beautiful little ombre granny square. This next one, I've definitely never seen anything like this one. It's called the citrus slice. So that's a nice little slice of summer right there. It is a skill level 2, and she has mixed and matched a couple of really cool blocks with this one that would make a really fun summer or spring project. I can see making a really fun summer purse out of this. It's almost a solid granny square, so that would be a nice one to make a purse out of because you don't have all the large spaces and holes for your things to come through. And if you didn't want to line the bag, this would probably be a good option. And I don't like lining bags. I will purchase a canvas tote from a craft store and drop down inside the bag and use it that way, but I don't generally line my bags. I'm not much of a seamstress. The next one is called Bright Shimmer, and this to me looks like a basic granny square, but it's a little more special because of all the pretty colors that she's chosen. This is a skill level 1. She says about this one that it is an essential to have in your crochet pattern collection. And I would say that is true because it's kind of basic, but really pretty. The next one is the double crochet square. So this is more of a solid granny square, and a solid granny square is really nice to have in your crochet arsenal because, like I said, if you're making a wearable or making a bag and you don't want things to slip through the holes, or maybe you're making a pillow and you want it to be solid, you don't want to be able to see the pillow underneath come through the holes, a solid granny square is a very nice square to know how to make. And this one also is a level 1. On the mix and match portion of her instruction grid, she has mixed and matched 3 other squares with this one, and I must say, this looks like it would be magnificent when these 4 blocks are grouped together. I'm really loving this mix matched portion of the instructions that she gives you. It's brilliant. The next one is called Intarsia Triangles, and she says this block creates an interesting diagonal pattern, which it does, and this is a skill level 3. This one is, it looks kind of basic, but not really, because for one thing, you are doing it on the diagonal, and it includes more traditional granny square stitches in there and then some solids, but the way she combines this together, it gives you a really dynamic, multi-dimensional granny square. I like this a lot. Next, we have the modern floral, and this is so pretty. It reminds me of stained glass. This is very delicate, lacy, feminine, just beautiful. I can imagine a sweater made out of this or a blanket. I can imagine a lot of things. This is gorgeous. This is a skill level 3. She says about this modern floral, a beautiful flower block that is a great way to try out some new stitches. I would agree. This is gorgeous. The next one I have bookmarked. It is called the Scattered Heart. It does not look that difficult, but it is gorgeous. It is a skill level 2. And again, I love the mix match ones that she has paired with it. So pretty. At first, when I got this book, I thought, well, I'll just use my own color choices. But now that I look, I'm falling in love with everything that she has chosen because her color schemes are just so perfect for how she has mixed and matched them with the other squares. So I may find myself trying to match her colors exactly. If I don't do that, it might be an opportunity missed. I would really love to try it just as she has suggested. The next one is the single color granny square. And this is more of a basic granny square, all in one color. I can do this by memory, but I'm going to check out her technique because she may offer some new ideas and better techniques than I already know. So I'm going to try this basic granny square. It is a skill level 1. And then she goes on to the next one being the 2-color intarsia square. So this one again gives you that diagonal effect, and it is a skill level 1. She says a twist on the classic granny square with endless color combinations and possibilities. I like these squares that have these diagonal patterns because my mother was a quilter, as I've mentioned before, and a lot of quilting patterns use diagonals in the pattern. So if you can do a diagonal granny square, you may be able to create a magnificent quilt pattern, but using crochet to do it. And I'm yet to do a diagonal granny square, so this is definitely one that I am going to try. And the next one is also another diagonal granny square, but it's a solid. It's called the Color Block Double Crochet Square. Again, something I think would be really useful for most of us crocheters to have in our crochet arsenal to know how to do this. She says about this one that it is an easy, essential to have in your crochet pattern collection. Pretty much what I just said. And it is a skill level 1. Again, she has mixed and matched it with some perfectly curated choices that would make a magnificent project. Next, we have the 60s floral motif, and this is another one that I have bookmarked for myself. Again, to me, this looks like stained glass. I am really excited about trying this one. It is a skill level 2, and she says a riot of color, multiple squares would make a lovely pillow. Well, I can think of a lot of lovely things you can make with this. And again, she has perfectly paired it with some other squares in her book. Next one is the houndstooth pattern. I've never made a houndstooth granny square. She says crochet this timeless monochrome fashion print that never goes out of style. And although that seems like something simple that should be out there in our crochet world, I don't think I've ever come across a houndstooth granny square before. So I really appreciate her including this in the book. It is a skill level 1. Next, she calls this one Peaches and Cream. And she says this square uses color and stitches for a striped effect. So the middle, the first part, is just a little granny square, but to me, just the way it's offset by the other stitches, it looks like a flower. Although on closer inspection, it is just a basic granny square. It's really neat how she has framed it with those other stitches, and it just gives it a whole different look. This is a skill level 1. And again, she's paired it perfectly with some other choices from this book. The next we have the sorbet square. So these are basic granny square stitches, but made on the diagonal. I have not tried anything like this, so this one I am looking forward to trying. And it is a skill level 1. I just think this one is really interesting, and I'm going to try this one. This one is going to be one of my priorities. Next, we have the Diamond Days, and she says, try making this square for a more challenging project. So it is a skill level 3, and I will save that one for maybe after I've practiced a few of her other patterns. But this one is really gorgeous. This kind of reminds me of a Southwestern motif. So here in the United States, over like in Arizona, New Mexico, Nevada, maybe Utah, you have these very distinct Southwestern motifs. They use a lot of orange or terracotta colors and turquoise. And so she's kind of picked up on those colors in this pattern, but not only the colors, but the design itself looks very Southwestern to me. That is really cool. I have not seen anything like that one. Next, we have the Rainbow Relief. I have not seen anything like this one either. This one is a skill level 2, and she says an interesting square with a raised 3D effect that is fun to crochet. I would agree. This looks very fun to crochet. It almost looks like a starburst sunshine in the center. This will be a cool one to try. Next is the Sun and Clouds. This is so unique. This is exactly like a sunburst and a soft blue sky and clouds. This will be beautiful for a baby blanket in a nursery. This one is just lovely. It is a skill level 2, and she says crochet a pocket full of sunshine with this pretty square. And she is correct. This would be a pocket full of sunshine. This is so cute. Next, we have the Jello and ice cream. Oh my gosh. I can almost taste this granny square. Has anyone else had Jello and ice cream for a summertime dessert? That is a brilliant title. She says, this fun design is reminiscent of the kids' party favorite. This is very cute. So again, this is on the diagonal. It's a solid granny square. And with the colors she has chosen, I can almost taste this granny square. I'm also thinking kids blanket or nursery for this one again. The next one is called the Multicolored Target. This one looks really citrusy to me. She has not paired it with the lemon citrus square that was earlier in the book, but I can see these two being paired together and making a really cute bag or pillow. She says, when you finish this gorgeous square, you'll feel as though you have hit the bullseye. This is cute. It is a skill level 1, so not difficult at all. Again, this is more of a solid granny square, so good if you have an option that you need for something you don't want to have the holes. Next, we have the Acid Brights flower. This is a skill level 3. I love how she's paired these bright, very vibrant colors against this white. That is lovely, very lovely. She says, this square would make a striking central point of any design. I agree. That would be just beautiful for a pillow. I'm thinking pillow on this one. Maybe make one of the Acid Bright flowers for the center, maybe solid colors or the diagonals to go around it. I'm not sure. There's lots of options I'm seeing with this one. This is really pretty. The ombre cross. I did not mark this one. I almost did. This may go in my second wave of priorities. This one is just so unique. It's simple but unique. Maybe it's not simple. She gives it a skill level 2. It doesn't look that difficult to me, but I'm really loving how this looks. She says the popcorn stitches create a cross that stands out from the double crochet background. That is quite lovely and would be a great accent to go in any blanket. Next, she just calls this one Warm Tones, and I, in particular, really love this one. I love the colors that she's chosen. I like the effect. She says this floral design brings a modern twist to the granny square. It is a skill level 2. That one is gorgeous, gorgeous. I did not put the bookmark in this one, but again, I may try this one later. It says Technicolor Square, and it is Technicolor. It's so bright. The gorgeous colors in this square create a rainbow of design possibilities. This is a skill level 1. Oh, this one's so pretty. I love the colors that she chose for this one. It's called the Brighton Rock. There's just something about more primary colors in the middle, and it fades out into these pastel shades. I like that a lot. The Brighton Rock. These cool marine colors with a pop of sunshine Bring to mind a day at the beach. That is a skill level 1. So it looks a little tricky, but apparently it's not that hard. The 4-leaf flower. This is the first one that I've attempted, and I'm working on this one now. When I saw this one, I was like, gotta do that one. I love that. It says this flower is worked first, then crocheted into the base square. So I only sat down for a couple of minutes and started this one, and I'm halfway through the flower. Again, I only spent a few minutes on it, and it's been very easy to read. Although it is a skill level 2, I'm hoping to whip that one up and at least be able to show you that one before the end of this video. The next one is the bobble beads. This is a skill level 2. This fun square would be perfect as part of a baby blanket. I agree. I think this would be good for, sensory, to give the baby some texture, to have something to fill and rub their fingers across. I also think it almost looks like one of those fidget toys, but I can see a child really enjoying a square made out of this pattern. And now we have the cool toned triangle. She says the use of cool colors in this design creates a striking square. This is really pretty. I like the colors that she's chosen a lot. It's the purples, how it goes into the blues and the aquas and the green and the yellow. I like those color choices, and they also just are so pretty against the white. This is a skill level 3. This doesn't look that difficult to me, but she's giving it a skill level 3. And again, she has perfectly paired it with a couple of other of her granny squares from this book. And this one is amazing. It's called the Dazzling Octagon. It is only a skill level 2, although it looks complicated. 2, it must not be that hard. She says the brilliant colors radiating from the center of this square create a mesmerizing design. I agree. This is kind of a kaleidoscope looking design. Did you have a kaleidoscope when you were a kid? I would spend hours with that thing just looking up at the sun, and I could spend so much time looking at a kaleidoscope. So this one is very nostalgic to me. It does remind me of the kaleidoscope I had when I was a kid, although she doesn't refer to a kaleidoscope in her description. That's what it reminds me of. The Dazzling Octagon. Next, we have the pop flower. So there's no popcorn stitches in this, but the colors are what? Pop. This is a skill level 2. She says work this square in different colors to make your project pop. This square is interesting, dynamic, and definitely gives you a great pop of color. That would be beautiful to with some of those solid color squares or the diagonals that have just the 2 colors in the square. I think that would look lovely. She's paired it with different options, which also look really pretty, and I would like to try. But if you wanted something more simple and wanted your to just really stand out, you could pair it with those solid options. The next one is a flower also. This is called the Crocheted Flower Net. And she says the chain spaces create a beautifully intricate fabric. So, wow, let's see. I'm having trouble spotting the chain stitches in here. Well, I kind of see them, yes. So this looks really interesting. It is a skill level 2. Very pretty. Another pretty flower option. Also, again, kind of looks like a kaleidoscope pattern to me. Next, oh, this one is really interesting. This might be the most unique one out of the whole book. Although she has a lot of unique patterns in here, this one I have definitely not seen. This is called the Loop and Twist. The loop and single crochet stitches create a fabulous texture. This will be another one great for a baby blanket or a child's blanket maybe. I don't know, a baby might get their fingers into the loops, but an older child, maybe a year old or older, this would be a great texture blanket. Just give them something soothing, make them a favorite security blanket. This might be a great option for that. The Loop and Twist is a level 3, skill level 3. The next one we have is the Watermelon Slice. And this is reminiscent of that citrus slice we had back earlier in the book. Wouldn't that be cute paired together? It's called Watermelon Slice. And she says, you'll need to make more than one of these juicy squares. Yeah, watermelon is one of my favorite foods. It's my favorite fruit. So I see this one being the perfect touch for a pillow, out on my patio, out on the front porch, out on the back porch. And I'm going to tell you a little secret here because I just can't resist. She's paired this one with that gingham pattern, and oh my gosh, it's so cute. This is a skill level 2. Next, we have the rainbow arch, and it is exactly how it sounds. It's an arch made out of a rainbow. And I'm not going to show you all the projects in the back, but she has a lot of project ideas for you to make with these squares. And this is one of them that in the back, if you buy this book, you'll see it is a really cool little wall hanging project using this pattern. Exactly how she describes this pattern. She refers to the project section of this book and says, see how to make a gorgeous wall hanging based on this square. And this is a skill level 2. Next, we have the stripe color block. Oh, I love this one. This is so pretty because it's diagonal, it's solid on one side, but then on the other side, it gives you this great rich pattern running through it. Love this one a lot. Oh, I would love to include this one in a crochet quilt. This says, this block alternates contrasting colors to create a striking look. It is striking. Love, love, love this one. So if you're a beginner, this one might be one you can do. Next, we have almost like a little amigurumi mixed in with a granny square. Amigurumi granny square fusion is how I would describe this. It's called the Cute Kitten. She says, use scraps of embroidery floss to add feline features. And this is so cute. It is only a skill level 1. So if you are a beginner, you might be able to try this one. Cute, cute, cute. Perfect for that cat lover in your life or a children's blanket. That is something I have not seen before. That's very unique. Next, we have the classic patchwork. This is gorgeous. It's similar to one we showed earlier in the book, but a little different because her bordering stitches definitely look like patchwork. This is a skill level 2. Use up leftover yarn in this square to create a patchwork look. So maybe after you have made granny squares earlier in this book and you have clipped off all your little tails, you can save some of those tails and make something like this. That's a great idea. And that was the last square in this book. I'm just popping back in to say I did choose the 4-leaf flower as the first pattern that I wanted to try out of this book, and this is how she turned out. I think she is beautiful. I did use similar colors to the ones that Celine had chosen in her book, and I just think it's so pretty. It's a lot larger than her gauge. Hers are supposed to turn out 6 by 6. This is about 7 3/4 by 7 3/4, so just under 8 inches. I used the 4.5 millimeter Clover Amour, and I used a worsted weight for acrylic yarn. I love this yarn from Hobby Lobby, and I'm very thrilled with how it turned out. What I will say is some of the written pattern, you have to be a little intuitive, so this might not be the best for a beginning crocheter. I haven't tried the simple patterns in the book, so I guess it depends on what level of beginner, if you are just a brand new beginner or if you are maybe an advanced beginner. An advanced beginner should be able to do several of the patterns in this book. And I mentioned before that the book has the written pattern, then it has the grid with all of the symbols for each stitch. And my sister has been trying to encourage me for a long time to use the grid because I use the written pattern. And I like this because it has both. So when I did get hung up in the written pattern, I found myself referring back to the grid just to make sure I was doing it correctly. And then before I knew it, I found myself relying on the grid more than the written pattern. So this book is really good for teaching you how to read those diagrams instead of depending on the written pattern. There is a second one that I have tried, but I have not finished it yet. So I'm just going to show you as far as I have gotten. This one is the Scattered Heart. And these granny square stitches are in fact beginning to look like hearts. This color is a color that I used in the flowers, so I thought I will include some of that color just in case I want to use these together. If you'll notice, I am tied on with 2 different yarns here, and that is one of the things about this pattern. You have to carry the yarn through, and I'm not finding that it's that difficult, and it's certainly easier than tying off and then restarting again. So there's not a whole lot of yarn tails on the back. I think I have 4 different yarn tails, and then you just continue to carry the yarn through. And by the time I get to the last couple of rounds, then it's going to start taking its square shape. Right now it's a circle, but that's the other one I tried. Now I have actual experience and not just reading the book to you and showing you the pictures, but now I can say that I have tried the squares and I'm even more in love with this book. I'm not even sure it really matters which one I try next because they're all pretty fabulous. This book, and then the next section is going to be the projects. So she is going to show you all kinds of lovely ideas. And now that I'm at the end of the book, I've noticed there is another author. I don't think she is the main author, and I didn't see anything in the beginning of the book giving a bio on her. If it's in here, I've missed it. I don't see it. No, I did see it on Celine, but I didn't see it on her. So I'm sorry I did not mention her. Her name is Leonie Morgan. And on the back of the book, there's another little just paragraph about each of the authors. So Celine Simon, it says she is a crochet designer from Victoria, Australia. She loves to create modern, bright, and fun pieces and has contributed to 3D granny squares, 100 crochet patterns for pop-up granny squares, and the Ultimate Granny Square source book. To find out more, visit craftycc.com and crafty_cc on Instagram. So that's how you would find her. And then Leonie Morgan, it says she is the author of 4 crochet books, including Block by Block Crochet and Beautiful Blankets, Afghans, and Throws. She is a crochet addict and lives in Wales. So I'm sorry, Leonie, that I didn't catch you till the end. So please check out their book. If you do use my link, it's an Amazon affiliate link, and I may make a small commission if you click that link. So that's a way you can support my channel, but don't buy it unless you need it. I don't want to influence you to buy something you don't need, but I have to say, I am glad I bought this book, and I'm going to get a lot of use out of it. Summer and I thank you for joining us today, and as always, remember, my friends, to let your light shine and always stay chic. Bye-bye.
Chic, chic crochet.